Welcome to Center HIce Productions. It's November 28th, 2023. Please hit the likes and the subscribes down below in your right-hand corner. Muchly appreciated, and I thank my followers and my supporters. Thank you all for your assistance. Okay, this is exactly what it states. It's a review of tonight's game, the Habs going into Columbus. Interesting game. So here we go. I'll give you the finals. The final score anyway was Montreal 4, Columbus 2. So we grabbed a nice victory in regulation time, which was a nice change. And by 2 goals, that's also a nice change. So in the scoring summary, there was 0 goals scored in the first period. However, Montreal had a very weak first period. Columbus seemed to come at us full tilt. And they carried it over going into the second at the beginning. But the great thing here was Montreal turned it up as well. So they were both playing better in the second. Columbus started the scoring. Montreal replied. Columbus scored again. Montreal replied, tying it up. Then we went to the third. And a beautiful goal to go ahead with, believe it or not, Armia. And then Lidstrom got the empty netter. So that made it 4-2. So that puts Montembeault at 5-3-1. Mazurkins was in nets for Columbus. And Joel Armia gets the winning goal. All right, now we'll go past the notes here. First start of game, Joel Armia, of course, getting the game winner. He was a positive 2 tonight. Cole Caulfield also. It was nice to see him get one of those goals on even strength. And it was a nice play that Slafkovsky started the play, got it up to Dvorak, and they seem to have a good little connection there. And this seems to be the best offensive line, other than Galley and Newhook have something going on as well. So Caulfield got his goal, which was nice to see. He had a half-decent game, too. The team played half-decently tonight. They played well. They kept the pressure on. Some sloppy zone exits. So, yeah, Cole Caulfield, 1 goal, -1. Chinnikov, he actually got a goal, and he was a +1 for Columbus. He had a really exceptional game for them. He was a threat every time he was near the puck. So he just seemed to always be there. So, first period, no scoring. Now we're going to give you a breakdown of the scoring. 340, Patrick Laine scored unassisted. It was a giveaway. Monahan lost it off the boards, and unfortunately, Barron was a little too high in, and Laine had a few steps on him, and Barron couldn't catch him. And it was this was kind of a iffy goal. It was kind of, you could tell that Monty got a piece of it, but however, it still managed to trickle in, because you could tell Laine didn't really place it where he wanted to either. But it was just an odd goal. Kind of on the soft side, but however, can't blame Monty in the sense that they shouldn't have given up the breakaway. So, with that being said, that was the way the game opened up. At 7:36, Montreal responds, and Alex Newhook, this has been great. I'm just amazed. He putting him with Gallagher and Suzuki, especially him and Gallagher, they got a pretty good connection. And so yes, he ties the game at 7:36, assisted by Caden Gooley. Caden Gooley had a strong game. He had a couple of mistakes made in his own end, though. Although a few defensemen had some mistakes, but overall they played well. Then Vigor Chinnikov gets his goal after missing on a couple of chances earlier at 9:47, assisted by Dmitry Voronkov, assisted by Zach Werenski. And that was at 9:47. Nice goal. You knew it was a matter of time. This guy could have had about 4 goals. He played that well. And then, nice to see 14:08, finally, Cole Caulfield snaps his drought, getting his 7th goal of the season at 14:08, assisted by Christian Dvorak. And again, like I said, you're Slafkovsky making that nice backhand play out of his own end up to Dvorak, who wasted no time. And this line has got they got some gel happening there. They seem to have good connection. A lot of the goals seem to be started with Slav and up to Dvorak, and then it goes from there. This seems to be their best scoring line so far, right at the moment, of late since they've changed the lineups. Then in the third period, it was nice to see, nice setup. Goal by Justin Baird, who started to play, and it was at 17:03. And Yoel Armia, nice doing what he should be doing in his first game, called back from Laval to Montreal, and he gets in front of the net. And a wicked blast from Matheson, who was set up with a nice pass from Justin Barron. And it was a big blast from the point area, and Yoel Armia came across to screen the goaltender in front of the net, and he just got a piece of it that redirected it on Mazinkins, and he didn't have a chance on that once that happened. And then, of course, they were going to pull their goalie to try to tie it up. We all know that. 19:03, Gustav Lindstrom makes, and it was kind of funny because he wired it with the open net anyway, and Mike Matheson did the nice thing of passing it to him. Nice empty net goal. So 4-2 was your final. That's how it was. For the first time, here's something to be blown away by. Shots 31-28 for Montreal. Can you imagine? We finally outshot somebody. And they had been outshooting us for a couple periods there. And good to see them start pouring it on. And then anyway, the hits, they were beating us in the hits 23-20. One major scrum in the third period broke out a little bit, but was contained. Face-offs, we won 19 compared to 18. Pretty close. Again, no power plays for us. So shows you how disciplined Columbus's game was. And Columbus had one power play with, unfortunately, Lidstrom shot one over the boards, cleared it over the boards accidentally, and we had a penalty. Otherwise, there probably wouldn't have been a penalty in the game. So with that being said, they didn't manage to score because Columbus is having a lot of problems on the power play themselves. So 4-2 in penalty minutes. Perhaps giveaways 4-5. Takeaways 5-9 for Columbus, both of those areas. Block shots, Columbus outblocked us in shots areas as well. And they played a positional game. So, so Sean Curley had a penalty for slashing, Kasevich for roughing, and Lidstrom. Yes, 3 penalties in the game. Pretty quiet overall. And, so it was 4-on-4 with the first 2 guys getting a penalty in the beginning. And then Lidstrom got that one in the third. And it looked like there was some, pushing and shoving going on in the third there. It started getting a little nasty. And then I also seen a play in the game where Struble looked like he was challenged and turned it down. And so good game overall. We played a good solid game. I didn't like our first period whatsoever. I liked our bounce back. And I like the fact that we managed. Sam Monbeau made timely saves. Only thing I think he has to work on is his rebounds, but played a great game. He played a really good game. He was using his legs quite well with the pads, making some very big saves because our defensemen get caught running around a bit and missing their assignments. So Columbus was moving the puck very well. So Monty had to make several big stops, especially early on in the game. I'd say the first two periods more so than any. So he played great. Played a real good game. Was proud of him. Was proud of the team. Um, Matheson had an outstanding game. Gooley had a pretty good game. Barron had a good game. Kasevich played well. And Lidstrom didn't play bad either. He played pretty good too. Half decently. Struble, I guess I would have to say was uh, bad pinch he made during the game, and boy, that's what it costs us breakaways and stuff. Two men, 2-on-1s, and he's got to learn what the time and when to do it. So right now, I mean, I know he's only game 3 in. I'm not so sure he's ready yet. I haven't seen anything that stands out to show me that he's ready. I would like to see a little more. There's some heavy shots taken at certain players at different times, and nobody's stepping up, and that's where I'm frustrated with Josh Anderson. This guy should be stepping up in that role. He can handle himself, and he's done it before. So if he's struggling in everything else, then step up for your teammates and get involved. When you see a heavy hit made. And Anderson, he started out playing. The effort was there, I found, but then he gets into this mode where periodically it disappears. Um, like I say, he was the weakest link offensively. I just really I gotta say, I gotta commend Gallagher. He played a pretty darn good game, and he's been doing that since being moved. But well, he was started. Monahan started those two, him and Pearson off this year, and he's continued on when the line got stale, and he's moved with Newhook. They seem to have a special little connection going. They seem to suit each other well. Suzuki had an okay game. I wouldn't say there was anything outstanding about his game. I don't like. There was points made last night and or 2 nights ago in the Tony Marinauer show, and it's both guests. One of them being the ex-Boucher, I think his name is, ex-NHLer, and Snake Bovera. They were correct, and they asked the evaluations, and really, it's quite evident that everybody sees it as it is. These guys, there's no real first liner on this Montreal Canadiens yet. Let's be honest. I've said it all along. Yes, Suzuki and Caulfield are our top guys, and Doc. And that's why I wish Doc was headed in the right direction, that maybe he could have been really pushing Suzuki. Because I find when Suzuki's not pushed, he gets lazy. And he was a little bit lazy in his own end tonight. And, certain times our players got caught trying to break out too quickly. Barron gets caught a bit that way too with the offense. That's how one of their goals was scored. 3 forwards trying to break that. I mean, that was a Dvorak, Slafkovsky, Caulfield line, and all 3 of them got caught trying to break out early, with Barron going up too far as well, trying to break with him. So it was like 4 guys trying to break out. So that was a little bit sloppy. There were certain sloppy plays like that. I like seeing certain players come in to defend their teammates when the little scrum happened. But however, Armia had a strong game. Well, he played better than. It's saying something when he's playing better, and Anderson's got to see this. Joel played a better game than Josh. Josh still had the weakest game. There were some good looks here and there with Evans and Armia, and I would say Elonen had a stronger, I would say, first 2 periods for him, and then he kind of tapered off a bit in the third. I found Evans had a really strong game, played really well. They were juggling the lines a little bit through this game as well, so you can tell they're still mixing things up, which can only stand to benefit them. But yeah, when those comments were made, we got to realize that we don't have a first liner yet in Montreal. Um, I hope that we get to that point of building that, or a 1A 1B type of situation where they both can cross over. That would be nice. That's what was so important about Kirby Doc. So he is a huge loss. But anyway, that being said, we got the victory. We came back. We hung in. I liked seeing our resiliency. I liked seeing the fact that Columbus comes out strong with that breakaway by Lonnie, and then we come right back with one. And good to see that Caulfield picked up one in front of the net. That goal from Dvorak and Slavkovsky, and you got kind of a more like a galley type of goal. So, but it was nice. Nice to see him. He joined 4 players in Montreal's history of how fast he's gotten his first 60 goals. So he's in a good crowd. Um, so it was overall a very solid game. Like I said, I think we only had really a bad first period, and we just got to watch some of our passes. There's times we tend to make blind passes, and it can cost us. So we got to work on that as an organization. Overall, well coached game, a good game. I figured it was going to be tight. Uh, Always a either way type of match. That can go either way on you. Uh, but we needed that victory because tomorrow night we get Florida coming in, and with that being a back-to-back, you can be sure Florida's doing pretty darn good this year. Have been pretty hot. I expect us to fall pretty heavily to Florida. I'm thinking it could be 4-1, 4-2, around that, thereabouts. Is what I'm projecting Florida. So we need this one because we'll most likely lose against them. They're a well-oiled machine with lots of veterans, playoff bound team. But there's, I think we got to start thinking about trade deadline coming too. And I expect that there's probably going to be a trade yet within December, January, somewhere in that vicinity. If you'll see the Habs make one trade for sure before at that point, then you might see a couple more at the deadline. Let's hope. But yeah, I just happened to say I can't wait till Jack High gets back. They're missing him back there. You can see it. They're missing his physicality. Abuli had lost his physicality for a bit there, and he was a little more physical tonight, which was good. But defense still got to work on some of their misassignments and stop trying to be pretty when they're getting it out. If you're under the gun pressure-wise, just belt it down the ice. Don't play with it and try to make dipsy doodle passes that are getting caught, catching us in our own end. So anyway, it was a good game. Very proud of the boys. Martin St. Louis got to be happy with this result. And it's one more because, like I say, we got Florida tomorrow night coming in as Montreal's flying back to Montreal from Columbus, and then we've got Detroit Saturday night. So it's not going to be an easy 2 games there, but we go on a bit of a homestand for a bit too. So that being said, that's how the game went. Like I said, there's wasn't overly exciting. It got interesting as the game went on, but the first period was horrible by us. But it wasn't an overly exciting game, but it was a good game. Just glad that Montreal had their resiliency, and that's what won them the game. They stuck with it. They kept fighting back, and then it seemed that we carried the edge in the third period. We were starting to take over. You could see when we got that second goal, it was kind of the momentum changed, and thankfully for our favor. So that being said, go Habs go. Yeah, it's another victory. Kind of makes us 500. Again, we'll go on for the tank. However, we'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. So please leave your comments. Be interested in what you thought. I thought it was an all right game. I didn't think it was a perfect game by any stretch of imagination or overly exciting. It was had ups and downs between the second and the third. First period was very So, that being said, we're puck drop first here at Center HIce. We will catch you at the next episode after Florida's game tomorrow night. And we'll go from there and review that game. We will catch you later, and God bless.